Hello everyone, this is Crazy, aka Why Must I Sign In, and so what I'm going to be doing in this video is trying to maybe take a look at, tell the document saved. What? So I'm trying to add some dependencies so I can look at all the void units. Oh, I see, so you have to, alright, whatever. And so I don't know that all of these will actually be usable. It might be that you can only choose void mod or void multi or void campaign because there's going to be dependencies fighting each other. And sorry, I'm not super familiar with every tick that this has, but I'm pretty sure we have to be using at least some of these models already from the campaign. But I mean, there's ground stuff like the Ares, but I'm not going to be too focused on that. We got Alarak. I mean, he kind of looks like he's fighting in the air, yeah? Yeah, so you could get an Alarak void fighting ship, yeah? He's ground. And so there might be spoilers here, kinda. Don't think we're currently using the Archangel fighter mode model, but we probably could. And so, but it's not going to display properly right now. It's because it wants to. Oops, stop doing that. All right. Well familiar with the look of the mothership. And so sorry if you have not played the campaign yet, if there's something that's kind of a spoiler here. We're pretty familiar with the look of the Hyperion, I think. So just to use the Ascended Kerrigan model. The various forms of the Ascended Kerrigan model. I mean, yeah, I want to fight with Kerrigan Epilogue 3. Don't you? I think this should be a new ship, yeah? Or maybe a Halloween ship. uh... Wish there was a way to organize by unit type a little bit easier. But there's actually not an overwhelming number of new airships, right? And so that's not as exciting as we might have thought. Hmm. Yeah, so there's the new mothership model. So just basically a reskin, which I think is already going to be used in the has already been used in the SPX tests, just to kind of give it a new look. A lot of these are from earlier campaigns, of course. Void Seeker, I think, was actually I don't think we're using the Void Seeker model right now. Not sure if it has actual attack animations because I don't think there's any mission where you actually control it to attack. Um, So yeah, so in terms of new airships, I kind of thought there was really gonna be a legacy of, or I'm sorry, the Artanis's flagship was gonna have an actual model, but it seems like we never actually get a model of Artanis's flagship, which seems really kind of weird to me. Like I'm kind of blown away that in Legacy of the Void they never created that model and never had it in a mission. In Wings of Liberty, they did create the Hyperion, right? So you could actually fly it around and stuff. But that seems to have not happened in Legacy of the Void. For Artanis' flagship. What the hell, Metzen? Is there a lightning breather? Huh, nope. No lightning breather for you. I don't really want to go through all the buildings. I know that using new buildings is one option as we kind of get going for the replacing the buildings in the game. This is already the frigate model, yeah? I mean, this would have always been, you know, one option for the towers. Whoa. Something does not like the audio there. It's still kind of going, too. That's... That's a Yagdra, kind of looks like. How do you rotate the damn things? Oh, there we go. That's a nice looking model. And so here is kind of, oops, what I've been planning to show you kind of from the get-go, more stuff like this. You know, we have actually a proper Arbiter model now. So if we wanted to go ahead and bring in the Arbiter somewhere into Legacy of the Void, we would at least have a model for it. No. Of course, you know, we never included Banshees anyway. Blimps. You could always include Blimp as a projectile, yeah. That's what Hanajazi did in Warlords and Merchants. Is he when ships exploded, they spawned blimps. It was pretty silly. Let's see. Quality ship flying. Oh yeah, I think I've probably seen this before. Corruptor. You know, some people think about, you know, maybe we should move this away from the Brood Lord, or the Guardian rather. Make it more its own thing. Critters. Cyclone is not a flying unit. Oh, I selected something that made a sound effect. So there are still the classic Guardians, including the Primal Strain. Okay. Yeah, just a smaller version of that, yeah. Infested Banshee. Uh-oh. There we go. Looks nice, yeah? megalith. It looks nice. And it is kind of flying. It's more hovering than flying, but I don't think that's a huge issue. Always the medevac, which I think is actually a custom Raven skin, but could always be moved to actually being its own unit. Well, there's the I don't think those are actually distinct models. The current Dreadnought model. Oh. The different Mutalisk models. Don't think anyone's really pushing to have more Mutalisks in the game right now. Here's the Nerazine transport model. Kinda looks nice. Yeah. Of course, the Oracle, which I don't think has ever been included in any meaningful way, but, you know, certainly could be a new type of caster class ship. Different, just slight variations on the Phoenix model. I don't think, since that's farm right now, I don't think anyone really plans to use Phoenixes in a different way. There's this, and you know, ICE has used this thing as a ship in Star Armada, but I never really liked the ship in that game that much. And the model always, I thought, looked kind of small. And so you could always blow it up, that's not hard to change, but you know, the bigger you make it, the kind of worse it's gonna look. And honestly, it's like, what is even going on here? You know, when you could have a flying Kerrigan walking around destroying things, which I think would be funny, just to have this model flying around in Star Battle. It would probably get old after a while, but it could totally make it work. Whoa, things exploding. Preserver base explodes. We always have a Locust spell. Some sort of new Zerg hero could use some of these guys. That sound. Okay, let's zoom out enough that we don't hear it. There's, of course, the Snake demo that has been around since Wings of Liberty that no one ever uses. Oh, that's actually... Is that the same thing as the other one? Maybe. Queen Classic. And so they did bring back the Queen as well. So in terms of like Brood War kind of units, could use Guardians or Queens. And so there are now stable models for that. The another medic model variation. Oh. It's kind of nice looking, yeah. Oh god. All the sounds. Okay, let's go back. The sound thing is something you would have to fix, obviously. Science vessels. Are there science vessels right now being used? I don't know. Another thing that you could, you know, new Terran ship spawn science vessels that will fly around and heal your team or radiate Zergs or something. Oh, and so this is another unit that Ice has used as one of his big capital ships in Star Armada. I don't think has really been used in Star Battle, or you know, and it's been like, oh yeah, definitely got to use that ship. What the hell's going on with this model? Oh, so you got these elemental guys. They look kind of cool. Oh, and that the mothership I was pointing out earlier. I'll throw it down, even though I know that we should already kind of be aware of it. Solarite cocoon. And it's the same thing again. Oh yeah, he's just the floating guy. You could have him over there. They're both kind of floating. They're hovering, so it would almost kind of work if you wanted, you know, to have a few more heroes in Star Battle that were more hero-like, you know, more like individuals rather than ships. But I think that this stuff would probably be outside of what we generally want. What the hell is this? Oh god. Ooh, everything's glowing. This is one way to like nuke the frames per second. Adding stuff like this. This stuff I'm pretty sure would just nuke frames per second. And of course there's the Viper. That unit that you know, kind of lends itself very easily to some really kind of clutch mechanics, I think. And so this would have been one option for, you know, having a new tower would be something like this, and probably a little too much. Things exploding there. And this again. And so you can always get new models, but it is always nice to kind of just be able to work with something that is already going to be mostly functional. So in terms of like a new capital ship, I think you'd probably be looking at not something like this. You know, there's certainly appeal to Viper. I don't think the huh, the snake model is going to be too delightful. You know, could you make something like this bigger? I think this is actually similar to what they're using for one of the tower models now. Do you think Oracle still, you know, has some potential? If you wanted to have something, you know, this guy kind of looks nice, where you could have a third wave. You know, there's already siege creeps, right? But if you wanted, you know, like something that would be more a resource gain unit that you could kill and capture, you know, maybe give it, you know, a lot of life and armor, and just kind of have it be somewhere where you could try to feed one lower underfed member of your team. Just, you know, make sure that they get the kill on this guy. That would be something you could do, or even have this as a capital ship. I think it looks kind of nice. Generally, this stuff has mostly just been alternate skins for the Raven, which I think is fine. I do think that the medic as a kind of organizing principle for a ship would be nice for Zerg builds. I think that one of the problems we've had is that any sort of Zerg support ship tends to be Zerg based, but you could actually have a Terran mechanical ship supporting Zerg ships and healing them up. It might be an idea to think about. Um, and again, repairing hull damage is not something that's very big right now, but we could have something like a science vessel that would be predicated around that. There's this weird mining thing that I know that ice is used, but I don't think really looks all that good. There's these guys uh, that I think, in terms of like having some sort of new tank, something that would be really predicated around taking lots of damage and having just lots of shields and stuff. I think this would be a pretty nice model to think about working with. Of course, this is actually an older style unit, but still would have a lot of potential if we wanted to bring something like this in as another big fat Terran ship. There's this Protoss stuff. Could look nice. I mean, it's there. I don't know what this is. We got more Zerg stuff. And we don't need both. We got the Queen, Guardian, and Viper as 3 possible Zerg ship models. I don't know. What did I do here? To make... I... Huh. Well, whatever. I think that having like an infested Banshee would be pretty nice add. I think the Mothership, as I said, is already going to be used as one of the base models. It's fine. This stuff, I think all this stuff, if you wanted to have another thing that goes out, that could be like, you could have something like this as sort of a controllable nuke, right? Where you'd have it chase and it could actually be killed or something, or even have it as another ship that could go out and could give you like a burst of minerals or something. Something to think about. But I think that as like a new capital ship, they kind of look too dull. Huh. This guy actually doesn't look too bad. Even has the kind of like dreadnought style forward-facing gats already. Blimps are kind of weird looking, so I don't think they're too necessary to add in. But as like some sort of like spell effect, I don't think they would be a bad idea. Or you could like summon Banshees with some Terran ship. Maybe you could have something like maybe you have this guy could summon science vessels and summon Banshees. That could be cool. Again, I think these guys kind of look nice, and they are kind of hovering, but I don't think they really fit in with Star Battle thematically. So I'm just going to delete that. Won't even let me select this guy. There we go. As a new Protoss ship, Arbiter is a pretty natural choice, since we already have an Arbiter. But since we already have an Arbiter, what would be this guy's role? You could bring back Stasis maybe or something, but the current Arbiter already does. So, you could have this as an alternate skin for the Arbiter, but I don't think we need a new Arbiter ship. What is this? All these Kerrigans. Oh, it won't even move her. It's really angry trying to move her. There. Alright, so... really Protoss stuff down here. Terran stuff up here. This could probably also be Protoss. This would probably be Terran if you're going to use it. I don't think we need to. This is kind of actually Zerg Banshee. So there's a fair number of models that we, will not be too hard to work with. And it's kind of like, what do you think the game needs, Do we need... I was thinking maybe it'd be cool to have a ship kind of like the Void Ray that would be focused really around, beam weapons. And, how could you make something like that work? Or maybe something that's actually kind of like that one where you would summon a projectile that you would shoot at your unit, where your ship would be stationary, which would, require it to be a pretty strong nuke, have a, an oracle-like ship that could be predicated around revealing sections of the map, kind of like how the Guardian Parasite would work, except more temporary, but also around like an AoE, so you could see like everyone that you would hit with that sort of spell. Or even like casting stasis on ships that on the farm ships, some way to kind of like indirectly deny farm to the other team, actually make that kind of a core mechanic. I'm not exactly sure what I would naturally think of for this guy. Kerrigans, Guardians, long-range siege ship, kind of like the Guardian we already have. How would you differentiate like a new Guardian ship from the already existing Guardian? I have no idea. I think that Viper, Queen, or Corruptor are all better ideas for a new ship. More natural. I just love the way this guy looks though. Like, I feel like we should do something with this. These are basically the same thing, right? So let's put our angle on that. There's a way to rotate these things. How do you do that? Rotation. Yeah, you can rotate it like that. So I can get some different angles on it. So what does this guy really look like? I think it looks nice. It's a good looking model. And so there's lots of still some Terran stuff. Most of this is actually left over from here, part of the Swarm and Wings of Liberty. But we do have some new Zerg stuff. Again, I think this stuff is probably at odds with the style and theme of Star Battle. But as hovering units, they are still something to maybe think about for right now. But if you think of this as a Protoss option, then we would have at least 3 or 4 model options for every race. So there's a lot of different directions we can think about. Just a matter of, what do you think we need? Like, in a way, Arbiter is already such a dedicated sport that do we really need another, ship like that? And I think that, actually, these two are the most appealing to me, because what could Protoss really use? Like a laser boat, yeah? Like something that's like the Void Ray, but more kind of like a frigate almost. Something that's going to be predicated around dealing direct damage, maybe even having like bonus damage to shields or something like this. But it's something to think about. So I think I know that a lot of people working on the map were like, yeah, maybe we should do something with the Corruptor, make it more its own thing. But I think Queen and Viper would both be bigger game-changing ships, right? Just in terms of controlling enemy speed at all. Like, you think of like a Queen-like ship that could maybe slow down enemy ships. That could be, huge. Or a Viper that would actually be pulling individual ships. Either of this would be just massive. And it's still Terran stuff that we can do something with. But yeah, I'm really disappointed that the, what's it even called? The Spear of Adun. Yeah, that's what it was called. That's what I thought it was called. And so I'm just kind of surprised that Starship Adun door. And so there's like internal stuff for the Spear of Adun. But where is like the Spear of Adun itself? Like, why is there no actual Spear of Adun, you know? Oh, I guess this is the... Weird. What about Spear? Yeah, no. There's no Spear of Adun model. That's actually really disappointing. I was sure that the Spear of Adun was going to be, you know, a ship that they were going to put together and really have, like, be a new big thing. But apparently that's not actually the case. So these are most of the workable models that I think would not be hard to do something with. I think I just added about a dozen Spear orbital strikes somewhere, but, you know, whatever. But there are some kind of cool-looking new ships out there, you know. You look at this guy. I just love the way this guy looks. So cute. Here, let's change the orientation. Look at it. Aww. He's so cute. He's a Solarite dragon. You guys got to do something with him. Alright, well, I think that's pretty much all the models I'm going to find in terms of new ships, so I'm just going to go and stop this video here. Hope you guys find something cool